The broadcast is now starting.
All right, good morning. My name is Jeff Warrock here at the National Weather Service in Wakefield. We'll run through today's a Thursday briefing. We'll run through the 24th through the 30th. And of course, we'll have our next email briefing sent out 9 a.m. Monday morning, and then we'll be doing this live briefing again on Monday, April 28th. So we'll go ahead and just get right into it. As far as just some of the headlines, but really pretty nice today. Things are going to change for us a little bit getting into Friday and Saturday. So we'll talk about that. Another cold front's going to be approaching the area, and there may be a brief period here of some gales possible on Saturday night into early Sunday. So we'll talk a little bit about that here as we go. Before we kind of get through the weather maps here and what's going on, I thought I'd show a picture of the satellite imagery here. So right now, things are pretty sunny. We just have some high clouds streaming across us, some of the high-level cirrus kind of streaming. Can't really see the smoke too well. Smoke has been a little bit of an issue here for the last couple of days, mainly the fires up around New Jersey. But the way the wind's been blowing, things did shift. We did have some smoke down in our neck of the woods yesterday, but the winds have shifted more to the south and southeast, and so it's kind of pushed the smoke a little bit further north up into northern Virginia, Maryland, and eventually it may actually kind of go around here and get parts of Long Island. I'll just kind of show you the air quality because some of this is being impacted by smoke. So really down our neck of the woods, we're really all in the green for the most part. But then you have the big fires up here along Jersey. And so the way the smoke's been pushed kind of to the east and also now going to the north, you can kind of tell where you're getting a little bit, maybe not quite as good air quality as you go west of the fires and north of the fires. But for ours, for the most part, we're at green. We do see some air quality issues because some smoke, maybe some fires down in North Carolina, where they're in the yellow as well. So a little bit better today. There was a little bit of, I think, heard people reporting some smoke, or they could at least see it. It was kind of hazy for a little while from some of the smoke going on with the fires. But there are fires ongoing in parts of North Carolina, far western Virginia, and obviously some of the big ones we've had up here around Jersey. So there are fires around. There is some smoke around, but right now it looks like for us, for the most part, I don't think we're going to see too much of an issue with it. This is a model simulation of the smoke, and so you can kind of see here where it does look like it's trying to push what's left over from the smoke more up across Maryland, and it really tries to maybe redevelop some new smoke and maybe take it up across parts of Jersey and even up here towards Long Island. So again, for today, with the east wind kind of coming in off the water, the southeast wind becoming south, we really don't see too much of an issue here today, and so it should be really pleasant, fairly nice today. As far as that is concerned. Weather map wise, the reason why we have the east flow is because the high pressure has actually moved more offshore, just off the Delmarva here in the first image. So that's given us that east southeast, eventually southerly flow, which is kind of keeping the smoke away from us with that ocean breeze. That does kind of hold on to tomorrow morning. You see the high pressure mainly just offshore, but by the time you get into Saturday morning, you start to see this cold front starting to approach the western areas, coming across parts of West Virginia, getting into far western Virginia. And so that's going to increase the moisture, increase the southerly flow, which will start to maybe give us an increasing chance for showers, especially Saturday afternoon. Even Friday afternoon, we're going to see an increasing chance. Saturday afternoon, I think we're going to see a fair amount of widespread showers and storms. So Friday morning, Friday afternoon, things are going to destabilize a little, but then a better chance is definitely going to be on Saturday. By the time we get into Sunday, you notice that cold front has been blasted way offshore. High pressure is building right back in the area for Sunday, so much drier for Sunday, but also going to be much cooler. So we'll be in the 80s going into part of the weekend for Saturday, but then much cooler comes Sunday with this cool high pressure building in. And you see the high pressure is right over us on Monday. So, clear conditions, maybe a little breezy early Sunday, but then becoming calm in the afternoon, and then really nice on Monday with high pressure just sitting right overhead, right on top of us. As far as our daily risk of severe storms, obviously today we're not expecting any kind of thunderstorms. For Friday in the afternoon, the light green kind of just represents general thunderstorms. So where we might see maybe a rumble of thunder, basically, Friday afternoon, Friday evening, just your typical ahead of a cold front, kind of a deal. We'll have to see. I don't know if we'll get upgraded. I think we'll probably stay in a general thunder risk there for Friday. For Saturday, you see it kind of a little bit more widespread. It's even all the way offshore to the coast where, we're not going to be really unstable, but there could be a rumble of thunder here or there on Saturday. It's probably going to start out pretty cloudy and be pretty cloudy most of the day Saturday. So we're probably not going to have a chance to get a lot of destabilization, and there's not a lot of shear in the atmosphere. So right now we're just thinking it's going to be just general thunderstorms on Saturday and Friday as well. Could a strong thunderstorm get going somewhere? Maybe. But it's not looking like it's going to be severe by any means right now at this point. Timing out the precip, this is kind of looking at the precipitation total for Friday and Saturday here on the left. So, anywhere from maybe some folks get a tenth of it to a quarter of an inch. You do notice once you get east of I-95 and over parts of Maryland, and especially southeast Virginia, northeast North Carolina, maybe we get a quarter to a half inch. This isn't, a big deluge of rain. It's just going to be, some showers with maybe a few embedded thunderstorms off and on. May not even be a washout. I'll kind of show you here in the model simulated reflectivity how it might play out. So it's not going to be a washout where it's raining continuously. It just may be kind of off and on, hit and miss. And so you see us kind of timing out the chances of precipitation here where, Friday afternoon, we get some chances, especially after about 3 to 6 o'clock. You're seeing that 30 to 40% chance of precipitation in some areas. Not so much in Maryland. Ocean City doesn't really have much of a chance, but parts of the Piedmont, I'm getting into parts of Central Virginia, do have that chance. Richmond, maybe a 25 to 30% chance there Friday afternoon and evening. And that kind of lingers overnight. Could be a few little widely scattered showers into late Friday night, early Saturday morning. But you do start to see those rain chances starting to increase by 9 a.m. Saturday, and especially between 12 and 3 o'clock. Everybody's rain chances really goes up pretty dramatic. And we should see showers and maybe a few storms around Saturday afternoon, and that will be ending Saturday evening. So come Sunday, we are dry. So kind of walking through some model simulations here of what it might look like. Again, take it with a grain of salt. But this is Friday. And so 11 a.m., obviously not seeing, I'll zoom out a little bit here so we can see the region a little bit better. There we go. Not seeing much on Friday morning. You step through in time, and again, it's going to be getting a little bit more unstable ahead of a cold front. So you start to see those scattered showers and maybe even a rumble of thunder developing here sometime Friday afternoon. Where exactly that will be, who knows? But you see northeast North Carolina, west of I-95, starting to see, maybe some showers developing, maybe even a few spotty showers here over the Tidewater. And that continues in 4, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, almost like a little waves coming through, 7 p.m. Starting to see maybe, later in the day, spotty showers, maybe even a rumble of thunder there. So Friday evening, just keep an eye on the radar. There could be a few little showers coming through if you've got some afternoon or evening plans. But it does look like it'll be more active, I'd say mid to late afternoon and into the evening. Here's 8 p.m., 9 p.m. And then obviously with the loss of heating, you do see some decrease here where you're starting to see more showers here in the west over the mountains, as the front starting to approach. But things may actually die off for a lot of the area here late Friday night after midnight. Could be a few little showers still, off and on over the Piedmont. But I think a lot of us have a shot at some precipitation there Friday, late afternoon and early evening, and then might see a break in it there for a little while Friday night. And so, early Saturday morning. So we'll jump into Saturday, kind of switching models here a little bit, but this is showing Saturday morning, 4 a.m., maybe fairly dry across the area where precipitation's more with the front on the other side of the mountains. And so we kind of push through the day. It'll be interesting to see how much of Saturday stays dry. This is 10 a.m. Here's 11 a.m. Maybe starting to see some showers developing over maybe northern Virginia, getting into parts of Maryland. It's trying to show a few little spots trying to maybe pop up here, but really a lot of the area stays dry on Saturday. So we'll see. We might not be this dry this long, but it is suggesting that Saturday morning could be a little bit drier, but then you'll notice in the afternoon, the rain just starts to kind of blossom across the region here as you push through. I'd say after about 2 or 3 o'clock, maybe the rain starts to kind of blossom a little bit, some showers and storms, and that might linger into Saturday night. But then by the time you get into Sunday morning, notice how the precipitation's all offshore by the time we get into near daybreak on Sunday. So we'll see how this plays out. The bottom line is there could be, kind of a couple little chances for showers and storms Friday late afternoon and evening, maybe a break Saturday morning, and then we may see more development late morning, especially through Saturday afternoon and evening. So not a total washout, and that's why when you look at the rainfall amounts, you're just not seeing that higher rainfall amounts, so just because it's just not continuous rainfall, it's just kind of isolated to widely scattered, with the best chance definitely being Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, where I think we may be able to get in on some rainfall. But we'll see Saturday morning. Some models are a bit wetter Saturday morning, and that's why you do see this, anywhere from 35 to 50% chance of precipitation Saturday morning, because some models are wetter than what I just showed you. So we'll see how that plays out for Saturday. So this is just kind of look at the rainfall total Thursday through Saturday, and then this is Sunday through Wednesday. So again, not a lot of precipitation out of this, maybe just enough to get the ground wet. Maybe some folks get a good quarter to a half inch. This is the entire 7-day total rainfall. So again, it's you kind of see that minimum. You kind of saw how you saw less rainfall maybe over the Piedmont, a little bit more in the east, and maybe a little bit more back towards the mountains and west. So, just not a lot of precipitation over the next 7 days, which we probably could use a little bit more than this, but at least we're getting some rainfall here to knock the pollen down and keep things a little bit damp going into the weekend. So your daily highs and lows, I mean, really, pretty very seasonable. You see Saturday here, we're getting up into the 80s even on Friday, but then you do see those cooler temperatures there on Sunday when that cold front comes through. So you definitely see that temperature drop. But then, gosh, look, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, we're talking mid to upper 80s. So the warming trend does come back. So this cool shot with this high pressure coming down is really going to give us some cooler temperatures, mainly on Sunday. And notice we'll warm up a bit on Monday, and then we're back into the 80s by Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. And if you look at I will kind of notice, I'll point out here, like on Louisa, we're not talking about any kind of frost, but we are getting back down in the low 40s there. So some cooler weather there coming behind that front Sunday and Monday, especially for our Piedmont areas, even Petersburg, mid 40s. So it's going to be cooler getting into Sunday, Monday with the low temperatures, but it's obviously not cold, not records or anything like that. And again, that main chance of rain really is focused on, Saturday, and then kind of moves out of the area by Saturday night. And we are dry even into Monday with the high pressure overhead. Very, very calm, going to be very, very dry. So looking ahead a little bit further out in time, out to 8 to 14 day outlook, that trend of above normal temperatures, you saw that above normal temperature trends kicks in by Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. That is going to continue even beyond that, out to 8 to 14 days. So pretty good signal that we're going to have above normal temperatures here in the mid-Atlantic region, over the next couple of weeks overall. And we just look at the precipitation. Maybe there's a slight signal that we may be above normal. I would say near normal precipitation, for us. It's just we're not seeing a lot of big heavy rainfall producers. We're just seeing these occasional fronts that are coming through, bringing us a little bit of rain. So maybe we're normal to maybe slightly above normal precipitation, but definitely not wet. We're not in a wet pattern by any means. Shifting gears into the marine side of the house. I mean, today's pretty quiet. You don't see really much going on. A little bit of a south to southeast wind there, maybe about 15 to 15 knots or so. Friday, not much different. Maybe a little bit more wind. You see more yellow on the map here, suggesting more winds of maybe 15 knots, maybe get some gusts to 20. But then you do see a bit more wind here for Saturday night. And this is really going to be keyed in on really a little bit later when that front comes through, that northwest wind. See a little bit of red on the map here, which gets us into potential gales, but widespread small craft advisory conditions everywhere. That's what the orange is for. So that's what that cold front pushing through. Probably going to be a little bit, maybe a little bit later when that wind picks up as after the front comes through. We'll talk about that. But then the small craft advisory conditions probably going to continue with a lot of orange here on the map, even for Sunday morning. Maybe even some gale conditions here in the lower bay, mouth of the bay Sunday morning. But then things really improve by the time you get into Monday night. High pressure moves in and those winds really decrease. And so you see the marine threat really drops off quite a bit, maybe some 15 knot winds on the bay there early Monday morning, but then those winds are going to die out pretty quickly. So Monday looks like a really nice day. So, as far as any kind of gale conditions that might be impacting us this weekend, this is really the area in red is where we have the best probability right now of maybe seeing some brief gales. The timing would be late Saturday night into early, but ending by about noon Sunday. So it's not a long period of time, and that would be a northwest wind here coming down. So winds pick up behind that front. The cold air kind of surges in Saturday night, but the wind will be coming down pretty fast by noon on Sunday. So really kind of a short period of time there. Winds maybe 25 to 30 knots there during that time period, gusting up to about 35 knots. So it's not really a sustained gale, and it's very, very brief, and I would say it's very marginal right now. But it's going to be windy there for a few hours late Saturday night and into very early Sunday morning. So this kind of shows you what those peak winds look like. Again, you can see that the south winds there ahead of the front on Saturday. You see that wind shift coming somewhere around maybe 9 p.m. And you see those winds increase really quickly from 20 knots getting up to about maybe 25 to 30, maybe even 35 knots there Sunday, about midnight Sunday to about 3 a.m. on Sunday, and lasting till about maybe 6 o'clock. But then after about 9 o'clock, and especially by noon, you really notice those winds are decreasing quite a bit. So again, that's that small window right in here from about, I'd say, 9 p.m. till about maybe, let's say, 9 a.m., where we have that maybe that potential for the gales. And this is the sustained winds here, looking sustained compared to the wind gust. And so, sustained winds, northwest there Saturday night, Sunday morning, right around, I'd say, 20, 25 knots, 25 knots sustained. Might see some spots in the middle of the bay, mouth of the bay, might go sustained 30 knots for a brief period of time. And again, those wind gusts, sitting right around 30 knots or so. Wouldn't be surprised to see this a few gusts here, like Cape Henry here, go to 34 knots. So it's right on the cusp, Bay Bridge Tunnel, 34 knots. You see it right there. So it's really, really marginal and really, really brief as far as any gale potential. And you notice how fast those winds decrease Sunday. Northwest wind noon is about maybe sustained at 15 knots, but by the time you get into 6 p.m., you're really only down to about 10 knots. And by Monday, it's really pretty calm. Some nice conditions there on Monday, around maybe just 10 knots or so. Wave height wise, I mean, obviously with the northwest winds kicking in, we'll have some brief, higher waves on the bay, getting up to around maybe 4 to 5 feet there. But that's really going to be geared towards that Saturday, late Saturday night, especially early Sunday morning, maybe a little bumped up out here with that northwest surge. And of course, the seas offshore will bump up to about 4 to 5 feet with that northwest wind. But right now, you look, it's pretty much just around 1 to 2 feet most everywhere. And again, when that northwest flow kicks in, I have a small window of time here where the waves and seas will kick up, obviously, but nothing too dramatic. Very typical with that northwest surge of wind jumping up to around anywhere from 3 to 5 feet. So that's really it for this week, and I'll go ahead and stop the recording.